Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Wow. The Sixers find a way to come back and beat the New York Knicks. After the Knicks go on this massive third quarter run, they creep into the lead, they knock down some three-pointers late, and they find a way to secure the W. It definitely was not pretty at all. The offense lacked at times, the defense lacked at times, and that's the most frustrating part about this team right now is you're seeing the defensive intensity slip, and that just cannot happen. Considering the Sixers struggle so much offensively, you can't allow the defense, the part of this team that's supposed to put this squad over the hump, the defense, the identity of this Sixers squad, well, supposedly, that can't just go away, or this team will be in trouble. But somehow they battled through, they got the win, and at the end of the day, that is what matters. Ben Simmons, we all know about the three-pointer. It's a step in the right direction without a doubt. He had a really strong game, both offensively and defensively, coming from him individually. It was really solid. He had 18 points. His stat line finished with 18, 13, and 7. I love the way he wasn't afraid to just pop the three when it came to him. They came out in the zone, the Knicks did. It was obvious that he was going to be open based off of that zone. He just let it fly, and it was smooth, and it was nothing but net. The jumper looked really good. There was solid form. We got to build off that. Ben Simmons has to build off that. He's not going to just start walking into threes and knocking them down left and right, but this is a step in the right direction. I am satisfied with him. I wish, and this could be me just being greedy at this point, though, I wish there was more. I wish there was more of getting to a mid-range spot and popping it, especially after he already nailed a three earlier in this game. I saw times where, after that shot already occurred, that he would dribble up the floor, pick up his dribble, and find someone to kick it out, because that's just the way his mind is triggered. Now, as I stated, it's just not going to flip automatically. In-game, his instincts take over, and if that's what he's used to doing, he's just going to do that. But it's me being greedy. I wish he attacked more in terms of just putting up shots in this game based off of having the confidence of drilling a three already. But I'm very satisfied with his game overall. He was strong. He was the leader. He was the bell ringer. He was a difference maker. And I felt like the team actually came together based off of the energy that Ben Simmons provided throughout the entire night. He did a great job of keeping the ball in favor of the Sixers, because let's be real, this team turns the ball over a lot. The Sixers only did 10 times in this game, and Ben did a tremendous job at securing the basketball. Before we dive more into this game, do not forget about the promo code BROADS that you can use at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your total purchase. It's a no-brainer. You get to be entertained at the game, right? You get to use that money on parking, beer, food. Come on now. Promo code BROADS. Use it today. So it was not pretty. No Josh Richardson, which played a factor. Brett Brown had to search for some options later, and Brett Brown, hate him or love him, made moves late in this game that factored into the victory. Al Horford struggled so much in this game, you couldn't even have him on the floor. What did Brett Brown do? Mike Scott saw minutes late down the stretch. You think he was big? Absolutely. So credit Brett Brown for putting Mike Scott in when it would normally be Al Horford. Mike Scott was draining these deep threes left and right. And when I say deep, I mean deep. One of those, no, yes. And then the second time, no, yes. And then the third one, okay, man, you can take it, baby. You can take it. I'm not going to give you the no on this one. What a remarkable performance out of him. And James Ennis got valuable minutes as well. Furkan Korkmaz could not stay on the floor. And I'm sorry, listen, the Jeremy Lin run that Furkan Korkmaz went on, it seems to be over. He cannot play. It's that simple. It's obvious. The kid cannot play. We were fooled by a mini run. He cannot play. Shake Milton, he struggled as well. But Brett Brown going with other guys besides Al Horford and besides Furkan Korkmaz, he made the adjustments. He put Trey Burke in there as well. And he was even talking about it post-game. He had to put Trey Burke in there as a 2 later in the game. He was trying to find some answers. He found the right answers. Absolutely he did. So give credit to the coach for this one. So down the stretch, I talked about the Mike Scott deep threes. Embiid had a big-time 3 late as well. Tobias Harris had a nice basket as he was cutting hard. It looked like he was going to yam it, but R.J. Barrett somehow backed away, and it was a layup, but he got the foul as well. Tobias Harris made that play late. He had a quieter second half. I believe he only put up 2 shots in that second half as a whole. Weird night for him, but he made that play late. There were also some bad plays, though, in the fourth. Like I said, this game wasn't pretty. It wasn't as if, woohoo, the Sixers won. No, it wasn't nearly as smooth as we need it to be. In the fourth quarter, there were some bad plays. So Embiid was dribbling way too much around the free throw line, a little bit to the left side of that, and he turns the ball over late in the fourth. Can't happen. He also, early in the shot clock, when the Sixers had a comfortable lead, they wanted to milk more of the clock. I believe there was 9 seconds left on the shot clock. He just pulled a 3. They were doubling Tobias up top. Tobias kind of dumps it over them. And, dude, you got to realize the time and how much you're up by, and it's situational basketball. You can't just pop the 3 at that point. You got to crush as much time on the clock as you can. And Mike Scott late as well. We got a rebound. The Sixers got a big-time rebound, and he was very lazy with the nonchalant pass to Ben Simmons. It ended up getting picked off. We had to foul, and luckily Randall missed 1 of 2, but that's a key possession. You get a board, you get to kill clock. You can't have a nonchalant pass. He had a hard foul, too, on the other side, Mike Scott did, when Embiid popped that 3, but luckily the ball was way out of Embiid's hands at that time. And speaking of a hard foul, Morris and Embiid earlier in the first half of this game got into it, and there was a little shoulder involved by Embiid. Nothing serious. This is the NBA. There's going to be a little bit of toughness, a little bit of physicality, and Morris gets all pissed off, and he brings him down. Somehow Embiid gets a T on that. I don't know how he got a T on that. Morris got the most of it, though, because he did the damage. Now, Morris had this mentality that he was going to go out there and ball, and he scored a decent amount of points. Now, he took a decent amount of shots as well. The Knicks battled in here. They grinded it out. They played hard. Now, the Sixers early on couldn't execute anything offensively, really, at times, and their defense had so many holes in it, so they weren't playing their best basketball. But the Knicks, for whatever their roster is in terms of talent, which isn't much, they competed, they battled, they made us work hard, they made us earn it late. All right, the Knicks battled to their best of their ability, but that's when talent comes in. Free throws are still a problem with this team. They shot under 70%. This is weird. This is odd, and that just goes on the player. You need to execute there. Under 70% again. Now, Matisse Thybulle hit 2 clutch ones late. Very impressed. Good. I thought Matisse showed some energy out there. 30 assists. Fantastic, moving the ball. And the bench. The bench was really good. You got production out of the bench. Very happy with what James Ennis is providing. He is knocking down shots. He's playing with intensity. He's always giving 180% out there, running all around the court. You notice him. You notice his effort level. Really impressed with what James Ennis has brought to the table as of late. The team is clearly still trying to find its identity. What bothers me the most, and I sort of touched on it, is that defense. If this team is going to want to be the team they want to be, they need to pick it up defensively for 48 minutes. You saw the difference at the end of the third quarter. After the Knicks went on this obnoxious run, the Sixers kind of creeped back into it late third quarter. You saw the defense pick up. You saw the intensity on the other side reach a different level. And then all of a sudden, the Sixers started making baskets. Well, isn't that obvious? Isn't that crazy? When you work hard on one end, it creates opportunities on the other. This team is not built to have this offense that will outscore other opponents at a high level, at a big clip. It all starts on the other side. It all starts with that defense. When you watch them offensively at times, you cringe. You don't see movement. You don't see any creativity. They're just not built that way. They don't have shooters. So you're going to have to grind it out on the other side to create these fast break times, to create looks. It's just how it's going to be. So if you're not going to give it all on that one side, you're not putting your team in the best position to win. And that comes down to effort. I was a little bummed Josh Richardson wasn't going to perform in this tilt because I want to see this team play with all of their players. I talked about it when Embiid had load management. It sucks just not seeing this team out there on the floor at the same time, getting minutes together, getting game time, just getting minutes, legitimate NBA minutes in a real game. This team needs to flow together. They need to run. They need to get on the court and go up and down the floor. They got to execute. That's the only way they're going to gel more. So I need to see this team playing full throttle. Now, I believe they did say something was wrong with Josh Richardson. This isn't a load management game. They said something was wrong with him, and they're clearly just being cautious with it, which is going to happen with any team at any point in the NBA season. There's no reason to push it if there's something there. But I want to see this team out on the floor as much as possible. So with Ben Simmons, going back to him, I'm happy for him. I really am. One thing, though, with him is he gets criticized, right? He gets criticized, and we saw it last year with Brooklyn in the playoffs, and then he answers the bell. He answers when he gets ridiculed and destroyed, and Embiid came out with those statements saying, yo, Ben, we're going to need you to shoot if we're going to win. So he's answering that, and he does it once. But when will it keep happening? When will he add to that? I'm always supporting him to the point where we're saying it's not going to happen overnight. So this is a step in the right direction. But, I don't want to see this once every 10, 12, 13 games. And if he can do that, why can't he do it mid-range wise? Could we see that more? One every 10 games, a three-pointer I'll take if he's giving me 2 mid-range jumpers a game. I don't think that's too hard to ask. And like I said, am I being greedy? I should be satisfied fully 100% with that jumper, which I am satisfied, but I want more. I want more than that. See, this is the thing with Ben. I always talk about it. I know how good he can be. I see the ceiling. I've seen him be dominant before, like insanely dominant, and I think he really was in this game, even though the numbers weren't 26 points, but I thought he was dominant as a whole. But I think he can add more than that. And I want to see it in the mid-range game. The threes, I'm not even really worried about. It's a great addition, but I want to see more mid-range game during, legit action. Now I seem like I'm ripping him apart after a really solid game, and that's not the case because we all know I am a supporter of Ben Simmons, a big-time supporter. Mark Zumoff on the call. He gives it that, yes! The entire Wells Fargo Center erupts. The place goes crazy, which was really funny to see. And, of course, social media blows up. You have the people out there, the NBA fans, saying, I can't believe we are reacting this way for an NBA player hitting a three. And then you have all the Sixers fans screaming, going nuts. And you put up the pictures of Ray Allen, Steph Curry, and Ben Simmons. And I saw all these memes of Ben Simmons being a statue. I I crack up with reading Sixers Twitter when big moments like that happen because people are, one, hilarious, two, really mean and aggressive in that way, and I sit back with my feet up and crack up with it because it's all entertaining to me without a doubt. We got some big games coming up. So far this season, it has not been what we expected it to be. Things have not been smooth. There have been some hiccups involved. But they're finding ways to get wins. I know it was ugly when we went out west. I know we should be dominating teams and dominating these bad ones like the Cleveland Cavaliers at home when we didn't dominate, but we squeaked out a win. And this one, the Knicks, they have 4 wins on the season. We should go out there and crush them, really, just crush them. There should be no contest. There should be no way we're down double digits in the third quarter. But they are winning the game at the end of the day. Things are going to have to get figured out, and Brett is working with some different looks, working with some different people. If this game shows you something, it's, hey, Furkan Korkmaz can't be playing 28 minutes like he did earlier in the season. The kid is not a player that can work on this team. Brett is working with James Ennis, Matisse Thybulle, Trey Burke. It looks like he's doing really well. Didn't see Neto. So is Burke the guy? Brett is working with some different options. And the adjustments made in this game cannot go unnoticed. Mike Scott was huge. You can argue without Mike Scott in this game, down the stretch, in those important moments, the Sixers might not win that game. Well, Brett Brown realized Al Horford just doesn't have it. Al Horford was struggling. He was getting abused. He couldn't find ways to score. Let's throw Mike Scott in there late. Bang, he did. That's adjustments. That's putting the right player in the right spot. He did that. That's what I was thinking about. I was sitting here while it was like 4 minutes ago, and I had something in the back of my head while I was talking. I said, Broads, do not forget that. Do not forget that. And then, of course, I forgot it. But here you go. Bang. Just popped right back up into my head. Late in this game, there was 2 plays back-to-back off a pick-and-roll alley-oop. And it felt like deja vu. It felt like I was watching the same play happen twice. Speaking of adjustments, and that's what triggered it, the players on the floor at that time, they got to realize they can't allow that to happen in back-to-back plays. They have to stop that. I was afraid that the Knicks were going to go down and even attempt to do it a third time and execute. That bothered me. And that goes back to the defense. If this team wants to be a serious contender, it all starts with the defense because we just don't have the skill set to get into a shootout with another squad and keep up the pace and score from 3 and knock down shots and get in the paint and score all these obnoxious points. So it starts on the other end. And why does it seem like every single game there is one player who is struggling coming into the night and they end up scoring 17, 18 points, knocking down their first 3 shots every game? It doesn't matter what team. That's me just nitpicking a little bit. Listen, the Sixers won the game. The Sixers get the W, and there's some big-time matchups coming to South Philadelphia on the schedule. We got a big weekend. We got to take care of business. I don't want to overlook this Saturday, but Saturday is going to be very entertaining. Well, there's a squad coming in on Friday as well. And oh, by the way, remember when I say talent wins in the NBA? And everyone says, look what Greg Popovich does. Check out their streak right now. Check out their streak. Now, they're due for a win, so of course I say that. And then since they're due for a win, they're going to come into Philadelphia. Some ugly things might happen. And then, oh, bro, you're an idiot. Yeah, I know how this works. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. See you next time.